Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope all of you are doing well and in high spirits despite these difficult times posed by COVID-19. My name is Ray, and I am having the honors to serve you as the moderator for today's event. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to welcome you to Ask Anything sessions with Mr. David van Lierde, the Deputy Head of Missions at the Embassy of Belgium in Jakarta. This event is a part of Europe Virtual Talks, Road to Europe Day 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, Europe Day is a celebration of peace and unity in Europe that is being celebrated on the 9th of May. Every year, the European Union institutions in Europe and its offices all over the world organize a number of activities for people of all ages to mark the day and raise awareness about the EU. Although we are refrained from celebrating the Europe Day in a traditional physical manner, FPCI is delighted to work together with the delegations of the European Union in Jakarta to convene the Europe Virtual Talks Road to Europe Day 2021, starting from the 1st of May to the 8th of May. This series will act as a platform for the Indonesian public to directly interact and converse with ambassadors or representatives of 10 European countries to gain further knowledge and insights about Europe, the EU, and its member states. Today, we are joined by Mr. David van Lierde, again, the Deputy Head of Missions at the Embassy of Belgium in Jakarta. Sir, I hope you are doing well. Okay, so he has prepared a very special presentation for us and is ready to answer as many questions from the YouTube chat box. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are also joined by students from FPCI chapters across Indonesia and general public who are tuning in live on FPCI's YouTube channel. Thank you for your participation and welcome. Before we move further, we would like to encourage all audience to stay tuned until the end of this virtual talks, because we are going to have a quiz where you can win interesting prizes from the European Union. The quiz will be held through the Kahoot game platform, so please allow me to guide you on some important instructions so that you can prepare to join the quiz. Number 1, please prepare a second screen or second device to join the game. 2, to play, please visit www.kahoot.it. Once again, is kahoot.it via your browser. Afterwards, enter the game PIN that will be announced later by the committee. Please put your order confirmation number as your nickname. Once again, put your order confirmation numbers as your nickname. So instead of putting your real names, your display name should be your unique order confirmation number. The number can be found on your ticket and should look like this. The order confirmation number can also be found in the confirmation email sent to you upon registering to our event, and it should look like this. Once again, please find your order confirmation number on your tickets so you may join the game later on. All right, so furthermore, we also encourage you to share your moments with us from these virtual talks by tagging at FPCI Indo and at uni_Europa with the hashtag EU4EU and hashtag Europe Day 2021 on your social media posts. We encourage you to ask as many as possible and submit your questions via the YouTube live chat box. Our committee will pick out the best questions and I will be reading them out. Please remember to keep your questions positive, constructive, and concise. All right, before we begin, let us begin our great discussion today by watching a video from the Embassy of Belgium in Jakarta. All right, wow, that was a very energetic video. It makes me want to go to Belgium right now. And now, without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. David van Lierde to deliver his remarks. Sir, the floor is yours.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for inviting me. I think my phone was muted before, that's why I couldn't say hi to you in the beginning. But yeah, my name is David van Lierde. I'm the Deputy Head of Mission at the Embassy of Belgium, and I'm also the Consul. I arrived in Indonesia in 2017, so this is actually the end of my tour. I will be leaving Indonesia this summer. So yeah, I'm going back home, and back home is, like you know, is Belgium. Belgium, for those who don't know, is a small country in Western Europe. Small, that means it's 62 times smaller than Indonesia. We are located like in the middle of Europe, let's say. North, we border the Netherlands. South, we border France. In the east, we have borders with Germany and Luxembourg. And then on our west side, we have a small coastline, not like Indonesia. Our coastline is only 60 km long, so very short, but all the Belgians like our coastline. We are a very flat country, actually. Our highest point is only 694 meters high. So like I said, we are a small country. But although we are a small country, we don't have a Belgian language, like some people maybe think, but in Belgium, we speak Dutch or Flemish in the north, French in the south, and then a small German community in the east. So 3 languages. In Brussels, we are bilingual. There's French and Dutch. Although, as you know, it's also the seat of the European Union. So it's like one of the biggest diplomatic communities in the world. So a lot of languages are spoken in Brussels. As we are such a small country, export is one of our most important things, because as we are only a community of 11 million people, we need to export. Our own market is not big enough. And I've just have the figures here with, what we actually export the most to Indonesia is machinery and chemical and pharmaceutical products. You probably heard now with the COVID crisis that a lot of the vaccines are produced in Belgium. And Indonesia exports to Belgium its shoes and clothing. So yeah, that's, I think, in a nutshell, things you should know about Belgium is like also in the movie. I'll just say to you that the movie was pre-COVID time. You probably have seen it, that people are still sitting together, drinking a glass of beer, but that's not possible at the moment because it's closed. But you see that we are on the crossroads. So we have a lot of influences from other countries. So yeah, it's a little bit like Indonesia. Also, we have a lot of multicultural communities in Belgium. We are famous, probably that know most of the Indonesians for our chocolate. Belgian chocolate is famous. Some other thing that people do not know, and maybe you should know, because it's Java jazz here, and in jazz, most of the instrument that is used in jazz is the saxophone. Saxophone was also an invention of Belgium. So lots of things. So yeah, that was my short introduction from Belgium to you. Let the questions come.
All right, thank you so much, sir. And well, you mentioned earlier that like Belgium likes to have a beer and so on. I gotta say that Belgian beer is pretty much the best out there.
Yeah,
in my opinion. Yes. All right. So thank you so much for your brief presentations about Belgium. And now let's go ahead and dive into our questions and answer sessions. I'll be taking questions that are submitted through our YouTube chat box. I also encourage everyone to ask as many questions as possible. And please remember to state your name and affiliations before submitting your questions. All right. So for our first questions, we have Dian from Udayana. Udayana is in Bali. I'm a fan of Tang Tang Adventure. Can you please tell us why Jakarta is set to be in one of these stories? Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't quite hear.
Yeah. So so it's Dian from Udayana. I am a fan of Tang Tang Adventure. And can you please tell us why Jakarta is set to be in one of the stories of the adventures?
Well, yeah, it's actually the former airport of Kemayoran, and that's actually, it's in the book. I think it's the flight 897 or something like that to Sydney, and that's where the tower of Jakarta, at that point, the Kemayoran airport, the tower was actually in the book, and you can still actually, the tower is still there, although it's a ruin at the moment, and I've visited once. Yeah, it would be nice if it would be possible to create something there for Tintin. Why it was in the book, that I actually don't know. I think the Hergé, the author of the Tintin books, probably was in the area and has maybe visited Jakarta, although I'm not sure. So that's a good question. Maybe I have to look into it and to see why actually Jakarta was one of the stops in the Tintin books.
And it was very interesting. I didn't know about it as well. So thank you, sir. And the next questions we have Namden Sadikinim, an Indonesian with Italian residence permit holder. Is it possible to do stagial work in Belgium despite the pandemic situation?
Well, at the moment, there are some categories. Normally, non-essential travel to Belgium at the moment is not possible. It's only possible when you have an essential travel. And there are some categories. So if the person wants to know whether she is belonging to one of the categories that can travel in these circumstances to Belgium, it's best that she send us an email with the exact circumstances that she's going to Belgium. And then we can tell her yes or no whether she belongs to these categories that can still travel to Belgium. But like I said, when it's students can still go, when they're registered in a university or school, they can still apply for a visa D, that's long stay, so they can still go. Whether it's an internship, then we have to look into it, what internship it actually is.
All right, thank you, sir. And next questions, we have Diki from Java. I often read news about strengthening the cooperations between Belgium and Indonesia, including in any fields. In your opinion, which sector has the most potential to generate profits?
That's a question, actually. That would be a question for our commercial attachés. As you know, I'm the consul, and in Belgium, Belgium can be kind of a complex country. It's actually the regions that are responsible for the trade. So this would be actually a question for the trade attachés. So she's most welcome to actually call or send an email to our embassy, and I will send it to our trade attaché, who can actually give an answer to this, where there can be cooperation in trade. But yeah, I think it's what we want actually with the trade offices, that I can tell you, is that we would like to have more trade between Indonesia and Belgium. Because at the moment there is trade, but it's still limited, and I think there's more potentials in any field actually where we can work together.
All right, noted. Thank you. And next we have Maharani Nurul from Cilacap. Good afternoon, sir. I hope you're doing well. I would like to ask you, how does climate change affect Belgium? And what is Belgium doing to tackle the climate change issue?
Well, Belgium has a lot of things to actually to tackle climate change. And we're hoping to do that with the European Union, because only Belgium is, like I said, we're a small country and we cannot do it alone. So I think this is a job we need to do, but not only with the European Union, but with all the countries in the world. Because I think this is a problem far more than a country can handle. Climate change is something that affects us all. And it doesn't mean because a factory is in Indonesia or there are some polluting somewhere else in the world that it doesn't have an effect to the rest of us. On that case, there are no borders. So I think what we need to do in climate change, and that is what Belgium is actually trying to do as a small country, we have to, is try to find partners that wants to fight climate change with us. And do it together, because together we are strong. And if you don't do it together, I don't think we will succeed. And it's of course, it's a difficult exercise, because different countries have different ideas about how to tackle the climate change. But at least we have to work together on this, because alone, then we're going nowhere.
All right. I think it's, the climate change is, it's of our works, like Indonesia is also trying to tackle climate change this issue, and I think Belgium and the European Union has done a lot more to tackle the issues. So next we have Zara from University of Indonesia. What are the international trade policies carried out by Belgium? If you may answer the questions.
Sorry, I didn't.
Yes. What are the international trade policies carried out by Belgium?
The international trade
policies.
Sorry, I don't get that.
The international trade policies.
Policies.
The policy.
Policy, international policies. Okay, sorry. It's sometimes I think it's the international policy on what topic or?
Yeah, what are the international trade policy carried out by Belgium? I think like just
Well,
asking in general terms.
the international, like I said before, it's the same as with climate change. The international policy in Belgium is that we have to work together. And we need to do this on several topics. It can be gender, it can be the equality between man and wife, it can be on other things, but the top thing of the international policy, and I think that's the line, is the multilateral solutions that we have to find. I think that you can say is the international policy, that we have to work together, whether it's in the NATO, whether it's in the EU, whether it's in the UN, but I think that's the international policy of Belgium. Working together to come together to a solution.
Thank you. So the question was actually international trade policy. So the trade policy, like in Belgium, like
okay, trade policy. Well, again, this is maybe an answer, also a question for my trade partners, for my trade, not partners, but for my colleagues of the trade office. But I can explain that the trade for Belgium is, and we are in a very open economy. So we are not there to have boundaries. We want a very open and liberal international trade. So that is actually the international trade policy. We are a very open economy, and we also want to do with trade with all countries without actually having too many boundaries, because this is not this is counterproductive. With too many boundaries, I think there would be not so much trade. So we have to open it. Of course, we need to taking into account that we have to follow some certain rules, like it says climate change, or some ruling like the labor law, so on, that we don't have child labor or so on. But international trade should be as open as possible.
All right, thank you, sir. And next we have questions from Pasha from Pontianak. So hello, Mr. David. Could you tell us about how it is to study in Belgium, and what are the best subjects to study there? Any info about finding the scholarships? So thank you.
Well, the scholarships, there was actually, that was yesterday, no, it was on Saturday or Sunday, maybe you can help me. There was the scholarship expo. So if you need more information for scholarship, please send us an email and then we can guide you. What is the best thing you can teach in Belgium? Well, we have high profile universities and schools. So actually there is anything. You can go engineering, pharmaceutical studies. We have really high, like I said, high profile universities. So any subject you can come to Belgium to study. And for the scholarships, like I said, it's better to send us an email so I can send it to the persons who actually did the expo on Saturday or Sunday. I can't. Was it Saturday or Sunday?
I think it was on Saturday.
Yeah. Who can give more information about how the scholarships works and how they organized, and is it because that's a really topic for them.
Okay, thank you. So to everyone who wants to know about the scholarship information, I think you can check it out at the Uni Europa Instagram official account. You may see some of the information that they posted there. Okay, next we have Dennis Istikoma from Austria, Germany. Good day, Mr. David. Can you please let me know how the Prime Minister of Belgium managed and allow the bar and chocolate store to stay open during the COVID-19?
So, sorry?
Yeah. Yes. Can you please let us know how the Prime Minister of Belgium managed and allow the bar and chocolate store to stay open during the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, we had to be honest, Belgium was one of the countries that we had like 24 during the COVID crisis. We had 24,000 deaths due to COVID. And we had like 1 million COVID cases. So we were pretty bad. We had like 2 waves, let's say. They are now trying to actually that the 3rd wave would not arrive. But at this moment, I think the chocolate stores were still open, as that's probably an essential thing at the moment. But there was a time in the beginning of the COVID crisis that actually all shops were closed, and it was only the supermarkets that were open and that were allowed, because people need, of course, go to get some food and other necessary stuff, but all the rest of the shops were closed. At this time, at this moment, it's just we try to actually beat it, and so we try to have not to have the third wave. So at this moment, every shops are open, but most of the shops is only on appointment, and the restaurants, bars, pubs, social gatherings are still forbidden. So that's still the case. We hope, of course, with the vaccination, and at the moment already 3.7 million doses have been supplied to Belgium. We hope, of course, that, and we see that the figures, they're slightly slowing down. We see that less people end up in hospital, or that it's less severe, at least. So we hope with the vaccination that everything will be back to normal, and we have our shops can be open, and maybe we don't have to make an appointment anymore to go to the chocolate shop. So yeah, but I think this is also something where we're all in together. Again, the COVID crisis does not stop at the border. Of course, you can close the borders, but still people are there. So I think this is something we all have to, are in together worldwide. I think we all need to have the vaccine, and hopefully with the social distancing, with keeping distance, wash your hands, hygiene, be a little bit difficult. It's difficult at the moment, and a lot of people are actually fed up with all these restrictions and all what is going on. But I think we still have to, in my opinion, we have to hold on, and there's light at the tunnel, at the end of the tunnel. So we're almost there, almost.
Right. To follow up, we have a follow-up questions from Satrio from FPCI in Jakarta. How's the COVID-19 situations in Belgium right now? Can you give us any updates about how the Belgium handled the pandemic and so on?
Well, that's what I just said. The restrictions are still there. People cannot go out together. There's still a maximum of 4 people that can be together. Pubs are closed. Restaurants are closed. You can go to the shop, but it's only it's only on appointment. And for the supermarket, there is also a maximum of people that can enter at the same time. The rest is that people that have to work from home, there's no option there. Only if you cannot work from home, then you still can go to work, but otherwise you have to work from home. So, and what we do at the moment in Belgium is we hope to vaccine as much as possible. And then we hope that the situation will turn and we will have our freedom back. So that's what we do at the moment. It's like everywhere in the same, we try to do like everyone in the world. We have our restrictions, and we hope that our hospitals, and that we see as a good trend, is that the rate of people in hospitals, because that was actually the main crisis, is that we thought that at the moment there would not be enough beds in the hospitals, and there would be it would be impossible to treat everybody. So what we see now with the vaccination and with the restriction, that of course is becoming long and difficult, that the rate of hospitalizations is slightly going down. So we are on the good way, and now we just have to hold on, and then that's it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. And next we have a fun questions. So it's from Rizky from UIN Jakarta. What is your favorite place in Europe to go for vacations? And which place in Belgium is your favorite?
Oh, that's a difficult one.
Oh.
That's a very difficult one, because I don't really have a favorite spot in Europe. I like to go quite everywhere, because I think everywhere something is beautiful, you know, where people live. I think so yeah, that's something it's hardly to say to Europe that I can hardly say. It's I think everywhere it's something beautiful, and there's everywhere there's something to see. For Belgium, I like the cities because even though it's I lived there for a while, the cobblestone streets in the evening when you walk among medieval town, that I think that's fun. So that's let's say for a favorite spot, it's maybe because I live there, Ghent, but Antwerp is also very nice. So but it's hard to say because yeah, if you have to choose, you lose the other one. So it's yeah. I cannot say it's the same like here in Indonesia, you know. If you ask me about my favorite place in Indonesia, this is also very hard because everybody in Europe thinks about Bali, of course, but there's so many more than Bali. To think like we during the 4 years we were here, I really much like Lake Toba in Sumatra, the Toraja. That was also something spectacular. It's like everywhere here in Indonesia, there's so many, and like this is something. The diversity of your country is it's enormous. All these different islands with their different ethnicities and their different habits and so on. That's really beautiful, and that's the richness of your the richness of your country, actually. So, and to ask now the favorite spot, even in Indonesia, it's hard for me because everywhere there's something that I say, oh, this was really nice, and there was really nice. So it's difficult for me to say.
Okay, thank you. It seems like these questions really struggles you to answer, to pick which one is the best for you. So yeah, I get that. Okay, next we have Nabila from Erlanger, Surabaya. What is the best Belgian chocolate that we can get in Jakarta?
Well, the best chocolate you can get here in Jakarta. It's actually the one I like, but it's not Belgian chocolate. It's actually Indonesian chocolate, but made by a Belgian chocolatier, and that's Mongo, and you can buy it everywhere. And I think that's really good. So if you like chocolate, and it's Indonesian made, but it's made by a Belgian chocolatier, Mongo, let's say.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have questions from Kiki from UPI Bandung. I want to ask you, what is Belgium's positions on multilateralism, especially after the Brexit? So the multilateralisms after the Brexit. And what is the biggest impact that Belgium feel afterwards?
Well, the biggest impact that Belgium has on the Brexit, and that's of course, again, with trade, is that we had a lot of export to the United Kingdom. We were one of the countries with the most export in Europe to the United Kingdom. So for us, this has, of course, an impact on our export position. And that's something we will have to negotiate. And hopefully, with the decisions that are going to be made, hopefully it will have as less as possible impact on our companies. Because the problem now we have is before that, there was no borders. So actually the products could go to the UK without any border control, without any formalities. And now these formalities are there. So that's an extra cost for the companies. So it's, of course, very bad, the Brexit for us, because we didn't like to see the UK friends going. So we would like to have them still with us, but okay, that's how it is, and that's we have to deal with. So for us at the moment, our policy is that we try to do the best we can for our companies that are still exporting to the UK to make the burden or the extra costs that they have or the difficulties they have to export to the UK to minimize them as much as possible.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have Mus from Bekasi. Good afternoon. Which language is most spoken in Belgium? Is it Dutch or French? And if I want to pursue my study there, which language should I learn more?
Well, the language you should learn, that's up to you. That's a decision of the person, whether it's Dutch or French. I can hardly say to you, you have to pick that one or that one. That's up to you. You have to see what's best, what school suits you the best, and what studies you like to follow. So that's that I cannot tell you about the how much is spoken in Belgium. I can say like 60% speak Flemish or Dutch, 39% speaks French, and then we have 1% that speaks German in the East Belgium. So that's about it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next, we have questions from Salsa. Good afternoon, sir. I was wondering what would be the best season to visit Belgium. And once the pandemic is over, of course, I would love to fly there.
The best thing to visit, I would say, the best things to visit are still our cities. And we have very beautiful cities where you can still feel like you're walking in medieval times, let's say, with the cobblestones and the thing. So that's the history. And another history you can have is, of course, you can see some of the history, like I said, the Battle of Waterloo. Everybody knows where Napoleon was defeated. It's still there. It's maybe, and you also have our World War I battlefields and World War II battlefields in the Ardennes. But there's so many other things to do. We are like I said, we are on the crossroads of cultures and in the middle of Europe. So we have been a little bit, we were the battlefield of Europe, let's say, between the big powers of Europe. They came to Belgium and fight their battles, but that also left some culture behind. So it's if you really want to indulge yourself in European culture, I think Belgium is one of the nicest countries to start. Plus, like I said, because we are in the middle, you're only 1 hour from Amsterdam, you're 2 hours maybe from Paris, you're 2 hours from London. So you're really in the middle of Europe, let's say. So yeah,
Okay. And when is the best time to visit Belgium? Like
when is the best time?
Yeah, which season?
Well, of course, most people prefer probably summer, especially if you're from Indonesia. Even our summer is not as hot as here in Indonesia. Our summer is mostly like around 20-25 degrees, and it can rain still. Even in summer it can rain. So yeah, probably for Indonesians, if you don't want to have too much of a shock, let's say, maybe summertime is the best time to go. But every season has of course is good, because if you're visiting cities, it can also be very nice to have it like in the winter when it's cold and when the lights are out and you can feel maybe the Christmas atmosphere. So that can also be. And if you like to visit museums or something like that, and maybe you want to feel the cold ones, like it's also, that's something I miss here in Indonesia. It's like those crisp cold mornings that you can feel the cold on your skin. And here it's always hot, so yeah.
Thank you, sir. And I think I don't know, like most Indonesians that I know usually wants to go there, like during the winter time, because I think like to feel the different kind of like weather, because at summer, practically we have summer all year long. So
yeah, that's correct. Maybe it's a good thing. Yeah.
All right. Next, we have a question from Vera from Bogor. The question is how Belgium and NATO responds to Russia's military build-up around Ukraine borders.
That's well, yeah. Like I said, Belgium is of course there. We have to stick together in NATO, and that's again Belgian policy. Like I said, we're a small country. We are too small to actually handle alone. So Belgian policy is to stick together. And try to find a solution, and hopefully also to make a peaceful solution in the Ukraine. But I think this is a very political question. If she wants to have more details of what the exact Belgian policy is towards the Ukraine, I think it's better that she send us an email, and then we will. I will send her an email with the exact policy of the Ukraine, the policy towards the Ukraine and Kremlin.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Next questions, we have Mark from LSPR Jakarta. It's an institution's university there. I'm a huge fan of Belgian chocolate. Will the climate change affect the productions of your chocolate and disrupt the supply chain in the future?
I think probably it can have an effect, of course. If the climate change, it will have an effect on the produce of the cacao and so on. So it can have an effect. But at the moment, I don't hear any complaints of the chocolate makers in Belgium that they having difficulties, of course, in getting their products. So at the moment, I have not heard, but maybe I have to ask them. I don't know, but I haven't seen any news or articles about that. But of course, it's true that if climate change has an impact, and you see it around the world, because also for us in Belgium lately, we've seen that we have also hot summers now. It was not the case. We saw that now, if we look all the statistics over the years, we see that our summers getting hotter and drier. And of course, if this continues, it will have an effect on the produce of the ingredients we need to make chocolate. And then, of course, it will have an effect on the quality and on the amount of the quantity or the price of the chocolate. So yeah, but at the moment, I must say I have not heard from any chocolate makers that they're complaining that the ingredients that they need are becoming too expensive or scarce or something like that.
Well, I hope it's going well in the future still.
Well, we'll see.
Yes. All right. Next questions, we have Rana from Parayangan Catholic University. It's in Bandung. Can you give a brief explanations on Belgian culture and which part of it is your favorite?
Belgian culture. What is Belgian culture? It's hard to describe. I think Belgians, they like to eat very good. I think that's Belgian culture. And what we also have is we like to party. Belgian culture is all about festivals as well. We have I think maybe you know Tomorrowland. So this is one of the examples that is worldwide known. But these are only one of the festivals. In summertime, we have festivals all over, and also in towns. Let's say we have parades. So I think Belgian culture is about, if I should say, is enjoying life. Good food, good music, and good festivals. And it doesn't have to be a festival all the time, but also other things that can enjoy it. I think that's what Belgian culture is. And I think that's the short explanation of Belgian culture.
Yes. Okay, thank you. And if I may add something, when I was in Belgium as well, I remember, going to this festival and just like a lot of people just enjoying, the music with a little bit of snacks and also like a beer in their hands. And I think that was, how I see, in the Belgians really like to just enjoying their lives. Yeah, I think what you said was right.
Yep.
Yes. So next we have a question from Anthony Gunawan from Andalas University, Padang. The city I came from is very conservative. What is Belgium's recipe in building an inclusive community?
Sorry, I didn't hear it.
So the city I came from is very conservative. What is Belgium's recipe in building an inclusive community?
An inclusive community. What we try to do is actually that people know each other. And people are not strangers to each other. So that's what we try to do in inclusive society. And that people are equal, and that we try to involve everybody, whatever your ethnic background, whatever your religion, whatever your thoughts, whatever you come from. If you don't hurt other people, I think that's what holds together in Belgium. That's what we try to do in inclusive society, to take into account everybody, to acknowledge the differences we have, but also what we have in common. And I think that's what we try to do. And it's a difficult task, and sometimes we succeed, sometimes we don't. But I think that's what we try to do in Belgium, and we try to have, and that's also to have respect for each other, the human rights, and that's also what we do in the UN or in other things. We try to highlight these values of human rights, women empowerment, all these things that try to make our world a better place. And I think that's the way how Belgium tries to be an inclusive society, to tries to be people that you look at minorities that maybe will fall out of boat, to pull them back in. And yeah, sometimes it's with success, sometimes it doesn't, but we try to do it. And I think we manage it with the Belgium is a very complex country, with the language groups that we have and the struggles we sometimes have among each other. But we made a system, I guess, where we can build consensus, where we can talk to each other without fighting each other. And that's what we try to do. I think that's how Belgium is trying to be an inclusive society, to bring everything together, whatever your thoughts are, and then we try to make a consensus for all of us.
All right, thank you, sir. And next we have questions from Natasha from Universitas Indonesia. You previously mentioned that Belgium are now finding partners to cooperate with Belgium in tackling the climate change. However, would you mind explaining what are the Belgium's domestic initiatives that have taken place as of today? Does not matter how minuscule, we would love to learn more about it.
We have several initiatives to battle climate change, but it's not like one thing, it's like several things. If she really want to learn more about it, she can send me an email and I can give her a list of what actually all the projects there are in Belgium at the moment to battle climate change. That's a whole list, but it begins what's most important is, I think, what we do, and that's important, and that's also for our children. It's we educate people about climate change or what can happen, because it all starts actually with yourself. So we recycle, we explain to people not to use too much plastic. This is all small, of course, and it doesn't have an impact on big factories and so on, but I think it does, because if you learn these things from when you're a child, it's important to take care of your nature. It also has an effect later when you take the decisions. When you are the CEO of a big company that has to reduce the waste that you're making or something, or when you make decisions, you will always think then as what you have learned from the beginning. And I think that's the most important thing, I guess. This is for me, but that's personally. I think that's what's most important, is to educate people about what it can do and how maybe you can reduce the waste that we all produce. And hopefully when you learn that from a child on, it will have an effect on decisions later taken by when you are maybe a politician or maybe a CEO of a factory, or just in your own, when you're in your own household.
All right.
But if she sent, like I said, if she wants to can send an email, and maybe I can give her the links or the projects, how climate change or how Belgium is trying to battle this, because it's not only it's a little bit. This is a whole. This is an explanation of ours. I think. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. And next we have a question from Farah Zahira from FPCI chapter Universitas Hasanuddin in Makassar. Responding to the issue of radicalism in Belgium, what actions did the government already take?
The actions that the government taken was, well, first of all, when we had the attacks, first of all was to battle, to find the people who did it. So I think they attacked, they created a police force actually that was there to find people that are radicalized and to put them behind bars or to re-educate them, let's say, re-radicalize. And this is, of course, an ongoing fight. And that's, like I said, again, the same thing as with the inclusive society that was later on. Sometimes people's radicalize because they don't feel part of your society, or they don't think that the way the society runs, they don't have an impact on it, or they don't want to be part of this society you're in. But if you have an inclusive society where people feel that they are part of your society, and they can, if they have some issues with that society, that they can ask that in a normal way, or just in a, like we have in a democracy. So they can ask these things without going to violence. So that's how the Belgium is trying to have an answer for de-radicalization, is to be closer to the communities and to try to find the roots of this radicalization. And if we detect it, that we can still change the people, because that's most important. It's not only repressive action. It's better that you can find that you see that somebody's radicalizing, and then trying to by programs or teaching or educating that he's changing his mind, or she is changing his mind. I think that's the most important thing. So that's what we try to do in Belgium, is trying to, yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully that they come.
Thank
you,
sir. And next we have a question from Rizky from Ministry of Finance. So I've just read and known that there are two major communities in Belgium, the Dutch Flemish and also the French Wallonia. How do the Belgians maintain unity and harmony as a nation?
Well, we do that via a very complex political system. So that has grown over the years, since we had the struggle, let's say, of our two communities. The politicians try to actually find a solution on a political basis rather than fighting each other. So, and this is actually a very difficult exercise until now, but it seems to be working. So we have, like, the two communities actually have big autonomy on most of the things, and some things we still do together on a federal level. So, but this is, it's always balancing, and until now it's working. So that's how we try to actually not to struggle, but try to live together in one small country with the two communities.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next, we have Freihan from Al-Azhar University. Is there any recommendations for historical museums in Belgium that you may have known?
Sorry, is there any?
Recommendations for historical museum in Belgium?
Oh, we have, any recommendation? There's so many. So many, we have so many museums. It's hard to tell just one or this one or that one. It depends where your interest is. If you're interested in art, you can go into the Royal Museum of Art. If you're interested in science, we have science museums. If you're interested in the war, World War I, you can go to the War Museum. It depends where the interest is. So there are so many different museums all over Belgium that it's hard to say which one you have to pick. It depends on your interest. So that's hard to say.
Okay, and next we have Tiara from Bandung. What are the general view of the Belgian people towards the Indonesian people, and what are the Indonesians known for in Belgium?
Well, the general view is that the Indonesians are so friendly people. And that's something that when I arrived here as well, that's something that it's really, that's something you notice immediately. You always have Indonesians always have a smile on their face, and they're always friendly. So what they know about Indonesians and Belgians is, friendliness. And the other thing they know about is that you have a beautiful country with lots of islands. And and of course, the one that nobody can forget is, of course, Bali. I think when Belgians, because it's far away, and when they think about Indonesia, their first thought is probably Bali. So yeah, they see it as a sun-drenched tropical island where it's always good living. But the most thing, when you know Indonesia better, I think that was for me something I will remember Indonesia when I'm leaving, is the friendliness of the people.
Okay, thank you, sir. And I think we have a few questions left. Next, we have Fajar. COVID-19 has been spread everywhere, and as a foreign diplomat, what live in other country? The COVID-19 has been spread everywhere, and as a foreign diplomat that live in other country, what's the thing you worry the most?
The thing I'm worried the most is at the personal level is, of course, let's say the family, because this was a situation that nobody saw it coming. And then when you see that we are far away from home, so we are also worried about our family back in Belgium, of course, what is happening, because in the beginning we all saw the news about the bad things that was happening all over the world. So, and you're far away, because if you're close, okay, you can talk to them, or okay, we still have the let's say at the moment the communication systems are so, it's not like in the earlier days when you were really far. Now we have telephone or WhatsApp or Skype or whatever, you can still see your family members. But during the COVID crisis, that was something that we thought about, like, what about the family? So but I think that's for everybody, not only for foreign diplomats, but everybody who lives abroad. And to be honest, and that was for everybody also, if you lived in your own country, there was the uncertainty in the beginning. Nobody actually knew what was coming toward us. And we heard about COVID, but it was not really known in the beginning how it was spread. So these were all uncertainties that I think not only as a foreign diplomat, but I think everybody was asking these questions. So I think now at least we know more, and we hope that the vaccine will be the cure. So it's less tense. But in the beginning, that was the uncertainties, and of course the family that was not around. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next, we have Pilar from Surabaya. One thing that I am eager to know is, aside from the chocolates, what is another remarkable thing that the whole world, or specifically Indonesians, need to know more about Belgium?
Well, one thing is, and it's every girl's friend is a diamond. And Antwerp is the world capital of diamonds. So I think that's something all Indonesians should know. Maybe if they want to give their wife or their girlfriend a nice gift, buy them a diamond from Antwerp.
Okay, nice. Thank you, sir. And I think it's going to be the last questions. My name is Fitris from General Sudirman University. I want to ask questions. May I know what and how the governments of Belgium tackled the migrant issues in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Tackled what? The
migrant issues.
The migrants.
Yeah. Especially in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah. Well, that's in what way, sir? In what way did the migrants?
No, it's just how the government tackled the migrants issues, or like what have the Belgian government have done so far.
Well, done so far but that has nothing to do with COVID now, because that's always our policy. Policy is actually that we're looking with our development cooperation to look for solutions in the people's countries, because people are fleeing, not because they want to actually probably flee their home, but because they have to. So what Belgium is trying to do is two ways. First, we'll try with our development cooperation, we try to actually improve the living conditions in the countries where these migrants are coming from. I think nobody wants to actually leave his home. So if we can improve the quality of life in their home country, there is no point of leaving their country and becoming a migrant. And it's very dangerous as well. You know, they cross the Mediterranean Sea in those little boats. with all the difficulties. And then on the other side is when we have migrants in Belgium, when they arrive, they can ask for asylum. And then it's just the normal procedure. We have procedures in place there. And then it's just the normal procedure according to the immigration law, whether this person can stay in Belgium or not. But for COVID-19, we know in some of the migrant centra that this is a problem because they're all together there. So the only thing that I can maybe answer in this case is, of course, that these people will also be a priority group to be vaccinated if possible, because we don't want to have any COVID outbreak in the center. I think that's maybe the answer to the question.
Yes, I think that answers the questions nicely. All right, so I think that was the end of the Q&A sessions. I'm sure everyone still has so many questions, but unfortunately, due to the time constraints, we cannot take them all. Again, I would like to thank Mr. David van Lierde, and thank you all the participants for your questions. It was a very insightful discussions, and I believe that all of us here have learned a lot today, especially about Belgium. And before we close, the EU delegation has actually prepared a fun quiz for us. If you answer the questions correctly, you will be receiving a goodie bag with cool gifts and prizes. So, Mr. Van Lierde, you are welcome to stay, but you are also welcome to leave if you have any other engagements. So, would you like to stay or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I want to thank you for the invitation and to have this discussion. It was very interesting. And I also thank all the participants for their questions. And like I said, if they want to have more information about a certain topic related to Belgium, they're always welcome to send us an email to our embassy, and we will try to answer their question or transfer them to the right person.
All right. Thank you, sir. So just to make sure, the email is on the embassy's official page, right?
Yeah, it's on the official website.
Okay. Thank you. And now we will be moving on to the quiz sections. We'll be using the platform Kahoot for the quiz. It's very easy, so let me read out to you the instructions before we start. Please use a second screen or second device. And to join the game, simply go to kahoot.it. Once again, go to www.kahoot.it and enter the game pin which is displayed on your screen. The game pin for today's game is 3555803. Once again, the game pin for today's game is 3555803. I encourage all participants to use their order confirmation number as their nickname. The order confirmation number can be found in your ticket in the email sent to you by Eventbrite. It should look like this. We highly suggest focusing on your phone during the quiz because there might be slight delay on the video stream to our YouTube channel. At the end of the Kahoot, there will be 3 winners that will win very cool prizes from the European Union. Shall you be the winner? Please take a screenshot as proof of winning. After you won, please contact our staff immediately and after the quiz to claim the prizes. You can send the message, send a direct message to @FPCIndo on our Instagram, providing your personal details and screenshots of your Kahoot. The personal details should consist of your full name, and then your address and your phone number. And then we will give you some time to wait for more players. Okay, so everyone can go to the kahoot.it and enter the game pin 3555803. I see that there are still some people that are using the name for the username. Please remember that we will be using the order confirmations number for the username. All right, people are coming in. Yes, once again, join us at kahoot.it or with the Kahoot app if you have downloaded the app. and enter the game pin with 3555803. And don't forget to use the order confirmation number as your nickname. The order confirmation number can be found in your ticket in the email that you have received upon registration. Okay, I think we can start soon. Yes, we can. I think we can start now. All right. So the first question. The atomium consists of how many balls? Is it 7? Is it 8? Is it 9? Or is it 12? Again, the atomium consists of how many balls? If you know the answers, just answer them as quick as possible. The answer is 9 balls. Congratulations, who got it right? The second question is, what is the name of the founder of saxophone? Is it A, Adolf Sax, B, Andrea Amati, Christian Friedrich Buschmann, or Bartolomeo Cristofori? Again, what is the name of the founder of saxophone? And the answer is, it's Adolf Sax. I think it's pretty clear in there. Right, for the third questions, what are the official languages of Belgium? Is it English, French, and Dutch, Dutch, French, and German, Italian, Dutch, or English, or Dutch, French, and Spanish? I think Mr. David van Lierde has mentioned it pretty often earlier. And the answer is Dutch, French, and German. For the next questions, where was Napoleon defeated in 1815? Is it Murray Hill, Winterborn, Breslau, or Waterloo? Again, where was Napoleon defeated in 1815? History buff should know this. And the answer is Waterloo. All right, Smurf tends to wear white trousers and hats, with the exceptions of being Papa Smurf. What color are his clothes? Is it red? Is it blue? Is it white? Or is it red and blue? Again, Smurfs tend to wear white trousers and hats, with the exceptions of Papa Smurf. What color are his clothes? And the answer is, it's red. Wow, I didn't know this. That's a very interesting fact. Okay, next we have, who was the name of the painter appointed by King Charles I in 1632 as the painter in his palace? Is it Peter Paul Rubens, Jacob Jordaens, Anton van Dyck, or John van Eyck? Again, who was the name of the painter appointed by King Charles I in 1632 as the painter in his palace? And the answer is Anton van Dyck. Congratulations, you got it right. The last two questions. Astrid Garden was created to welcome Prince Leopold and his wife during their honeymoon in Indonesia. Where is it located? Is it Eka Karya Botanical Garden, Cibodas Botanical Garden, Bogor Botanical Garden, or Purwodadi Botanical Garden? Again, Astrid Garden was created to welcome Prince Leopold and his wife during their honeymoon in Indonesia. And it's located in Bogor Botanical Garden. And the last question. The Tintin comic Flight 714 is partly set in Indonesia. Which building in Jakarta featured prominently in this series? Is it A, National Monument, B, Kemayoran Airport, C, National Museum, or D, Fatahillah Museum? I think we have also mentioned this earlier in the lecture. And the answer is Kemayoran Airport. Yay, and with that, we come to the end of the quiz. So congratulations to all the winners. It was a very hard question, and someone, like 2 people got it 8 out of 8 right. So again, congratulations to all the winners. Again, for a reminder, please contact us via Instagram direct message immediately after the quiz to claim your prizes. And kindly provide us with your name, address, phone number, as well as a screenshot of your Kahoot for verification process. And now we finally have come to the end of our session today. Thank you so much again, Mr. David van Lierde, for your valuable time. And on behalf of FPCI, I would also like to extend our gratitude to the Embassy of Belgium in Jakarta, the delegations of the European Union in Jakarta, and to all the audience on YouTube who have participated today. I would like to remind everyone that we still have several Ask Ambassador Anything sessions that is part of Europe Virtual Talks Road to Europe Day 2021. For tomorrow, we will have His Excellency Benedetto Lateri, the Ambassador of Italy to Indonesia at 10 a.m. in the morning. And in the afternoon sessions, we have Mr. Piotr Firlus, the Chartered Affairs of Embassy of Poland in Indonesia at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. For more information and to register, please visit bit.ly/Europe Virtual Talks. Again, to register, you can visit bit.ly/Europe Virtual Talks. Thank you, and we hope to see you at our future events and hope you have a good day. Thank you.